ridden behind Ben Rosnell last year, that it's certainly quick enough. So to have new models and current models be competitive, that's just fantastic. So yeah, Yamaha and Suzuki are still the main ones, but they're both very new and very exciting. So.
All right, so under a race start at the moment. Once the lights start up, you'll hear the revs go up. There's the first red light, so listen to those revs. The riders are telling us the story as they get on the clutch, and away they go. Lovely start for the man off at second. Lovely, and then the wheel went up too much. All of a sudden, what appeared to be a good start in second place, he lost it big time and probably drift back to about fourth place. As we look for the start up there, Brad's got his eyes on this one and taking a look at the field for us as we're keen to get the update as he's been doing for many of the other class, and looking how we get out there.
So we've definitely got the commentator's dream, the Nick Kane entry in to ICOM at the moment. The 33 goes through there, and then the bright red bike is Brendan Booth, the second of this. So it's at 1-2 Mega Motorcycle Centre Underground Brown team racing at the moment. They head into the left-hander Euro mark, and look like Michael Patchett from Auckland, the Suzuki SV650 there. He's in third place, I think, by the looks of that. So we'll have to wait and see the update. They're heading through into Fulton Hogan now. So awesome field of 650s out there, and it is Nick Kane in front of this one and looking to try and break free.
All right, Sam, you've watched so far almost half of the first lap. Observations?
Yeah, well, it was good to see Nick get away to a good start. He didn't get the greatest launch off the line, but he certainly got the power to the ground. You know, it looked like Andy Mack was going to steal it from second, but he just got that front wheel just a wee bit too far up, and then you got to roll off, and all of a sudden he's back in probably fourth, I would say. Oh, actually he's up into third now, which is good. But yeah, Brendan got a lightning start from the outside of the front row as well to get right up there on my old bike. I can attest it's an absolute rocket ship of a bike. I should have won way more than I did last year. The bike was certainly capable. It's the one that Dennis rode the year before to the championship. So yeah, it's good to see there. We've got a new generation SV in first place, we've got an older generation SV in second, and we've got a Yamaha in third, and we've got Metzler's 1 and 2, and we've got Dunlops in third as well, so good bit of variation in the top three.
Absolutely fantastic. They head down the front straight, and already a bit of slipstream work there from the Yamaha. See, the Yamaha just doesn't quite have the hind legs of the SV650. They head into the fix-it pass corner, and it is a Christchurch 1-2-3 at the moment with Nick Kane, and then Brendan Booth with Andy Mack, former 300 Supersport champion, I think he was a few years back, in third place at the moment with looks to be Jace Augustine, Michael Patchett in fourth place, Ben Rosendale, and then Josh Augustine in sixth place. So awesome stuff, and awesome to see the Canterbury boys doing well down here.
That's a very late move around the outside. Andy Mack over Brendan Booth. I remember talking to Brendan, and I told him you got to be hard on those brakes, and he obviously didn't listen to me enough, because he around the outside goes Andy Mack. That's an absolutely wonderful move, and I know he definitely wants to stay with Nick, because Nick's the kind of rider, you put him into a rhythm, he gets out the front, he gets into his own rhythm. He's a very hard man to beat. He just wants to tick away those lap times, count down the laps, and just get into a really nice rhythm. So Andy obviously knows this. He wants to get up to him, he wants to disrupt him a wee bit and try and bring this battle down to the wire so he can take it all the way. But that was an outstanding move around the outside into the hairpin. You don't see that very often at this kind of level of racing, and he certainly made it even look easy. So clearly that Yamaha is good on the brakes, and clearly those Dunlop fronts are good and hold up. So he must be happy where he is. He's back into second and going to hunt down Nick and see if he can make this a real race of it towards the end of the race.
Yeah, awesome to see Michael Patchett now. He's climbed onto the back of this four-way battle for first as well. And then go back to Ben Rosenell, Josh Augustine with Silverwood, and SJ Cavell. They make up the next four-way battle in there as well. So awesome stuff heading out of the rock sweeper, and it is still Nick Kane in charge of this one. But look at that Yamaha, it's real riding. Nick Kane from Andrew McLaughlin, then Brendan Booth, Michael Patchett for Ben Rosenell. Nick Sutherland's up into fifth place as well. So awesome stuff in this awesomely hotly contested 650 Pro Twin action.
And you can see Andy Mack's just put in the fastest lap of the race at the moment, which is a 1:40.467, which is a little bit down on some previous years, but I'm sure they'll get a little bit quicker as they go on. Or it could be the hot conditions. I know Nick was asking me when I was down on the pit before about how he thought it would be out there, and I said, it'd probably get a bit greasy at this time of the day with the heat being on the track for so long. But it definitely, the eye test shows that Andy Mack's catching up to Nick, and it definitely looks like that way, and the lap times are showing that as well. It's splitting up a wee bit, the top four there. I was really hoping it'd be a nice four-way battle all the way to the line, but as I had kind of suspected, I know Nick Kane's got very good pace, and Andy McLaughlin wants to stay with him, and it looks like they might be pulling it away a wee bit and turn this into a couple of groups of two before we get to the main pack.
Yeah, it looks like Michael Patchett there, he's gone up into third place over Brendan Booth, so that's going to be interesting to see if he has anything for the front two guys who have definitely broken away. 140.467, so definitely caught right up, and now there's nothing in that battle for the lead as they head into the Signbiz Dipper. And awesome, it would be an awesome thing to get out of the Signbiz Dipper on a 650 twin. That would be no feeling like that as well. And then he's right on him now as they head into the Rock Sweeper, so interesting to see. And they cross the line if he's got enough down the slipstream. It looks like he's very good under brakes, very good cornering. We'll see what it's like down this front straight. They're nearly side by side as they come down the front straight, and I think it's going to be all on into Flexiplast.
Well, in fact, here again with Sam Davison. First of all, Sam, we're seeing our local Canterbury riders dominate here, probably more than in any other one class we've seen. But hey, what will these guys be like when they go to the other tracks as well? Do you think they're strong enough? Or will we see the North Islanders starting to come back? And could that be a total shift? South Islanders in the south, north in the north to balance things out? Or, mate, these guys look like they're broken away. Can they do it in the north? Have they got enough experience?
Yeah, well, I know obviously with Nick, he finished third overall last year in the Pro Twin, and he's been up and down the country many times. He's been around for a long time and raced many different classes. And of course, Andy McLaughlin, New Zealand champion, he's got plenty of experience around the country. You do, of course, tend to see the local riders do better down here, and I think they'll continue this probably down into levels at Timaru, because it's a very sort of specialised track as well with the local knowledge. But hopefully, yeah, that when we get it back up north, the North Island riders can really take it to us. I know last year, me and Nick really struggled at Hampton Downs especially. It's just a hell of a fun track but a hard track to learn, and of course a few guys had some testing days there, but hopefully we'd see the Canterbury boys continue to do well at Timaru, which certainly wouldn't surprise me, and then the North Island boys can bring it back up north when they get back to their home tracks.
Awesome to watch. They head into out of the scope left-hander and into the dipper, so that is a really awesome battle. So we'll have to see what happens now as they head in, and then definitely Michael Patchett, third place, is stretching that advantage to fourth. Brendan Booth, but doesn't look like he is reeling in the top two. So if we look back and look at Nick Sutherland, that's awesome. He was down in about 10th place before, now up into 5th with Ben Rosendale in behind him as well. So the North Islanders struggling to find their feet here at Ruapuna as we watch this awesome battle as they cross the line. And definitely that Suzuki's just got a little bit more top end, I think, to get him under brakes. But as I say that, he pulls up next to him and has the inside line into Flexiplast, and I think he's got it done. So I think that's an awesome move. Won't see the update out of Flexiplast and Liquid Molly, but I think we have a change for the lead, and Andy McLaughlin will take over from Nick Kane.
And now we're really going to see what Nick Kane's made of, because he's been in this position before where he had a good strong start last year. I think he got a couple of seconds and a third at Ruapuna, but he never got that elusive win. But we're going to see how he responds to this from Andy Mack, because two different riding styles, two different bikes, two different tyres. We're going to really see if Nick can stay with him. And at the moment, I mean, Andy's riding really, really well. It's going to be hard for him to stay with him, but hopefully they can flick that switch. Looking back a little bit, it's actually, I just noticed the strength of the Pro Twin field. We've actually got two New Zealand champions in the field this year, which is fantastic. We've got, of course, as I've mentioned, Andy McLaughlin for Supersport 300. We've also got Ben Rossendale, who's a ex-Pro Twin national champion back in 2015. I believe he won it. And that just shows you, Pro Twin is not one of those classes where it's a sideways class where it doesn't go anywhere. This is one of those classes where you can come in, you can be competitive, and you really do get a decent level of riding on a bike, which actually are very, very cheap to run and maintain.
Yeah, absolutely. The SV650, you can ride that on your learner motorcycle licence, and they're only about 12,000 Oz brand new, so you can go riding one of these beautiful 650 twins from your local Suzuki dealer. And now with Yamaha being a competitive 650 twin as well, that's fantastic for the industry and for New Zealand motorcycling. So we see them out of the Rock Sweeper, and it is awesome to see Andy Mack out in front, but Nick Kane's not letting him get away with this one, so we'll have to wait and see if he can match him. This is a massive 8-lap, so there's still 3 laps to go when they cross the line. Michael Patchett from Auckland, the first of the North Islanders, doing a good job there in third place with Brendan Booth back and forth, and then we look to see Nick Sutherland there coming through, and Ben Rosendale with Josh Augustine. Matt Bro is up on in front of SJ Cavell too, so some awesome Pro Twin action, and awesome to see them with their own class this year, where they had to share with the Superlight last year, and it was hard to quite keep a track on all the battles, but now they get full racing and full battling, and absolutely awesome.
I definitely am jealous of that last year. It was a bit frustrating sometimes with those Superlight boys, but the Pro Twins, I think they fully deserve their own class. I mean, look at these numbers. They're one of the biggest classes here. There's just no reason not to give them their own class. It's fantastic racing, fantastic battling. Just looking back into the lap times, Andy's definitely pulled the pin. He's gone straight back into the low 40s when they had dipped into the 41s very briefly when Nick was in front. And from what the eye test shows, Nick is really struggling to keep up with him, and so it's going to be a very interesting question to see whether these Dunlops hold on that Andy Mack is running, and whether he can maintain this pretty quick pace all the way to the end, or whether or not we're going to see the Metzlers come back. And that's always the good intrigue when you got different people on different tyre brands, different brands of motorcycle. It's always wonderful to see change. You know, I mean, as nice as it is to have a full field of one bike, it's also really nice to have that diversity.
Yeah, absolutely, and just to see the likes of Jordan Burley, who dominated this round and dominated the class last year, he's moved on to bigger things as well. So you can also, as well as a lot of journeymen out there, you can use this class as a good bit of development with a 650 twin, learning a lot of good cornering and holding your corner speed and some good racecraft as well.
That is absolutely 100% right. You know, that production bikes, you can't do very much to them. Once you've got them to their maximum, that's pretty much it. So it does come down to how well you ride the bike, and you can learn an awful lot. And Jordan was very, very competitive last year. I can personally attest to that. It was very difficult to race against, and a really good competitor. And yeah, to see him doing well in a 600 certainly validates this class, and it doesn't make me feel so bad about losing to him for sure.
Having a look at the update at the moment, Andrew McLaughlin by Nick Kane and Michael Patchett, Bernard Booth, Nick Sutherwood, Ben Rosendale and Matt Bro. He did the Dixon Cup last year, so already up into a 650 Pro Twin slot as well. Awesome SJ Cabell. Phil Munty's up there in 9th place. Awesome stuff. Alex Butson, Jace Augustine, and Chris Bird with Colin Terry and Peter Gunn rounding out the top 14. So we have lost Josh Augustine. I'm not sure what's happened to Josh. We can't see anyone down on the track, so we're not sure what's happened there, and hopefully he's okay as we watch. Definitely Andy Mack is trying to get away with this one with just a lap and a half to go around Ruapuna.
Yeah, no, at this point, you know, his lap time's looking good. He's certainly sort of broken the back of Nick Kane, and you know, he just has to hold on and take it home. But he's a very experienced campaigner. He's won New Zealand races before. He's got the experience. I really can't see, you know, touch wood, anything major happening to him from this state. He's got this race in the bag if he holds on. So it could be that the first race going to Andy Mack. There is still a lap to go, but he's looking awfully good at this stage.
So scheduled for a 12-lapper for the GP tomorrow afternoon in the hot sun. How physically demanding is 650 Pro Twin racing in a 12-lapper?
Yeah, well, because I mean, they really are just a commuter bike, so they're certainly not a race bike by any means. So you do have to muscle them around a wee bit to get them going. So I certainly wasn't the most physically in shape last year. Getting onto the bike, I didn't have much lead time onto it, and I certainly suffered at the end of the races. But some of the more physical competitors were fine. So yeah, 12 laps around here. If it's this kind of weather, this kind of condition, it certainly can separate some of the guys that have trained for it, some of the guys that have prepared themselves a bit better. And so just like any class, you really need to take that thing and take the physical training side into account. You can't just jump on these bikes, any of these classes, and just ride them to their limit, you know. Easy as. It does take a certain amount of preparation, and the ones that prepare, they're the ones that do well. So it's definitely a long time, and it's definitely a hot time on a Pro Twin.
Awesome stuff. What an awesome insight we get into 650 Pro Twin racing. Definitely a class on the rise, both in numbers and in performance, as we watch Andy Mack head into the Christchurch Casino Carousel for the final time in this 8-lap journey. He's definitely broken the back and got about a 2.5 second lead over Nick Kane, and then go back to Michael Patchett, who after being in this four-way fight has run a pretty lonely ride in third with Brendan Booth on the second of the Underground Brown Medical Motorcycle Centre orange 650 twin. So awesome stuff to see. Out of the dipper comes Andy Mack, and just needs to bring it home. He's got the rock sweeper to contend with, and he has ridden a pretty good race. He had to do it all pretty tough, had to make a couple of good moves, but he's managed to get it around the rock sweeper for the final time. Neat and tidy out of there, and he is heading down the front straight, and it will be Andrew McLaughlin, former 300 Supersport champion a couple of years ago. Now he's back winning Pro Twins race 1, then go back to the 33 of Nick Kane, so he'll be pretty happy, get some awesome points. It's a long series, so second place is definitely a good result. Nick Kane. Michael Patchett, he'll be happy. He'll be looking forward to the series heading to the North Island. I think third place is pretty good for him. 7th place of Brendan Booth, his number 7 of Brendan Booth, and Nick Sutherwood, Ben Rosendale, Matt Bro all come through, and they definitely closed in that gap to 4th place. So we'll have to find out from Brendan whether he was fatiguing or whether something happened there, but definitely dropping off the lap time pace during the end of that one. So awesome stuff. Phil Munt rounds out the top 9, so awesome to see him in 9th place, and just waiting for Alex Butson to come through in 10th place, and Jace Augustine in behind him for 11th. So brilliant stuff with the Pro Twin, brought to you by Mega Motorcycle Centre.
And proudly supported as well, thank you, up here by Sam Davidson, who is parts and sales extraordinaire at Bigger Motorcycle Centre. So Dennis made you work on Saturday morning, Sam. That wasn't too nice, because he wanted the morning off. Is that the story?
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. He had to come and race, and someone had to be at the shop, so it wasn't my choice, you know. But it's not too bad, you know. It's a good place to work, and it's a good place to be. And you know, being in the industry is always good. It feels like a bit of a big family sometimes. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world. And when I'm not racing, also, it feels a bit. It's hard to be out here when you're not racing. So it wasn't the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, nice to see. So Sam, thank you very much for joining us. Please, can we have the privilege again tomorrow? You're back again?
Yeah, I am here again tomorrow. So yeah, if you have me, I'll come up and yeah, have a chat with you guys. Come to Pro Twin races.
Thank you very much.